Hey, real quick, before we get started, why is this so quiet? Is the mic quiet for you guys? It's a little quiet, huh? Is this better? Is this better? Oh, hey, my bad. Hey, whoa. Hey, whoa. Is this better? Is this better? Is this better? What the fuck? Hello? Why is that not working? How about this? How about this? All right, you guys want to see something? Look, you guys don't love your cat the way that I love my cat. Look at that. Look at that. Look how cute he looks. This is what I do. Scratch under his chin a little bit. Scratch under his chin right here. Beautiful. What a beautiful baby. That's all he is. He's just a baby. He's just a baby. He's just a baby. He can take a pet, no problem. No, he's a precious boy. I mean, look at my coffee glass. I mean, Jesus, man, I'm obsessed. I'm my cat's #1 fan. You have more than one cat? No, I just got one. He's such a precious boy. But, he's a single child. He's a single child. It brings me a lot of joy to think of our beautiful Finn, with just a little baby that he can mentor.
To be free and flexible.
Not thought about it. Getting him a little kitten that he can sort of mentor and take under his wing, proverbial wing. But he's a single child. He hates being around cats. He hates being around other people. A lot of cats don't like having friends. I think it depends. I've got family members that have 3, 4 cats. And they all love each other. It really kind of depends. Paul with the 2, dude, your hair looks quite floofy today. I know. I literally just got out of bed. So before you guys do the whole, damn, Slightly, you look tired today. You didn't get much sleep, Slightly. No, I actually did just wake up. So. Cute kitten that hates when you stream. Yes, he hates when I stream. He has gone to his hiding spot. We were hanging out a little bit. It's so hard to get out of bed. I'm laying down. Finn comes up, notices I'm awake. A couple head rubs, head rub him back. Then we call it father-son time. He sits on my chest a little bit in the morning, pat him. Sonny looks like he hasn't got to sleep in 30 minutes. No, you're right. Guys, today we're not going to talk about the Mavs and the Lakers game today. I just don't want to do it. I just don't want to do it today. Just being honest. We're going to talk about Rangers spring training takeaway so far. So the Rangers start their spring training a couple days ago, and I'm really excited about this season for them. a couple things that I'm looking at. I'm looking at the bullpen, really. You lose Kirby Yates, who was a revelation for you a year ago. Dude, is Bleacher Report streaks done? Is Bleacher Report streams finished? Dude, my hair looks terrible. Hasn't worked in 2 weeks? No. Paul with the 2 again. Is it me or does Slightly Biased look tired today? No, it's not you. Nelson is... I'm not joking. Nelson is probably the biggest OG there is in here. A few of you guys are absolute OGs. Nelson was here when we were talking about football and there was like literally 3 people in streams. Slightly Biased looks rough. I appreciate that. Thank you. Imagine if you paired Slightly Biased with Luka. What up, Pixie? So, what's our thoughts? What's our takeaways, guys? I like that this is just going to be a running joke. I like that this is going to be a running joke now, and people are going to join the stream and just see my chat shitting all over me. Just like, hey, man, yeah, you look like shit slightly. And people are going to be like, oh, this is just what we do here? Cool. Cool. Weird game last night. I agree. But here since late 2022, although I just recently became a member. A lot of people in chat have been around a long time. Dude, Nespresso. You guys just do it right, man. And then you froth the milk. You know, the Nespresso machine comes with a little milk frother. You froth the milk with the cream. Good God, man. I'm not joking. So I got this as a Christmas gift from my lovely grandparents, who I love very much. They knew I had a bad coffee problem. Spent a lot of money on coffee. So they got me an espresso machine. And since Christmas Day, I've been to Starbucks 3 times. Been here since 2020? What were we even doing in 2020? If that's true, that's crazy. I think we probably posted like 3 times that year. Seems to be me, Slightly Biased, as a member of the bourgeoisie. But hey, I support the proletariat, though. Hey. I support you brokies. I mean, you working class people. Flip Bucket Side Delusional Club. All right, let's get down to business. Hopefully my audio records this time. I don't know what the fuck happened last time, but by the way, this is kind of what I was predicting. Should I do a video about the game? Easy views. Not a 2-hour video. It'll be sort of like older videos, but I think it's important. I think it's important follow up. But anyways, the video is getting a second life. I knew that it would. Its views are trending upwards pretty significantly. It's like getting a second wind. Is there like a Twitter account I can go to see all the post-game stuff? Like what Luka and Kyrie had to say? Did one of the Mavs guys tweeted out? Is that like a Grant Afseth thing? I think Kyrie looks really good with his shaved face. Grant does? All right, it's kind of what I figured. Does Mike Curtis travel with the team? Mike Curtis does good stuff. I like his post-game stuff because I like hearing all of it, not just some of it. I like hearing all of it. Oh, he's got a bunch. Does he have Luka too? All right, cool. I just don't. Why would D-Live go to LA? You know. There's some amateur reporter named Grant. Yeah, some wannabe reporter. What the fuck else was I gonna do? I lose track. Oh, I lose track of things so easily. What's that called? What mental disorder do I have, guys? Give it to me straight. Dementia? Low IQ? That's probably it. Who loves their own cat, more than me? I bought that dude's merch. Weed smoking memory? No, that can't be it. Probably ADHD. I really do think I have undiagnosed ADHD. Okay, let's lock in. You wanted to cover all NBA, not only Mavs? No, we will, and we have been, honestly. It's just what's there to talk about today? This is the biggest story that there is. This is the biggest story that there is. So here's what the plan is for today. We're going to talk about the Mavs game. We're going to go over some of the stuff, some of the post-game stuff. Also going to talk about, I want to watch that Kenny video. We watched a little bit of the start of it on playback. I want to watch it. I feel like it's important. We never do that type of react content here, but I feel like it's important. Cover out the Lakers. All these Laker podcasts are awful, man. So let's just get started, and I'll tell you guys my real feelings about last night, okay? Now that I've had some time to sleep on it and think about it. Sleep on it? You look like you haven't slept at all. No, I did sleep on it, guys. Good. Oh. This always gets me. Good morning, folks. It is Wednesday, February 26, 2025, 10:53 a.m. Central Standard Time. It's the day after the Luka Doncic Dallas Mavericks showdown that we got last night in Los Angeles. Finally, we can move on. I see a quote right here. Luka on first game against the Mavs. Glad it's over. I feel the same exact way. We're going to spend a good chunk of the start of the show talking about that. Then we'll move forward and talk about whatever else there is to talk about. But we have to start here. We have to start with the first game that Luka Doncic has played against the Dallas Mavericks in his career. And it was weird. I mean, it was weird. I got to be honest with you guys. My feelings are that of strangeness. I don't know really what to think, and I still don't know what to think. Like, I thought there would be kind of some closure maybe. There really wasn't any. I didn't love how I felt. I didn't know how, honestly, going into the game, I didn't know how I was going to feel. Like, I had a feeling Luka was going to pop off, and he did play pretty well. Although I will say the Mavs did a good job against him. A triple-double, his first triple-double with the Lakers, 19 points, 15 rebounds, 12 assists, only 2 turnovers. Didn't shoot well, but played a good game. I mean, got his teammates involved, saw a lot of double teams, made the right pass almost every single time. I mean, shit that we know Luka Doncic does, right? I didn't know what was going to happen when the game started. I didn't know if the game was going to start and Luke was going to hit a 3 and I was going to feel something where I was like, oh, fuck yeah. You know, like, yeah, yes. Like deep down, like, yes. Or if he was going to hit a 3 and I was going to be like, fuck. Pissed off, find myself rooting against him. I didn't feel anything. It was really weird. I found myself rooting very hard for the Mavericks. Very hard. Probably the hardest I've rooted for them to win a game this season. So do with that information what you will. And it wasn't like rooting against Luka or anything. It was just I wanted them to win that damn game. It just would have felt good, right? I didn't find myself mad that Luka was doing good though either at the same time. It felt so bizarre. Luka still doesn't have his legs, but he's starting to mesh with the Lakers offense. Yeah, he doesn't have his legs still. I think that's obvious, in my opinion. Like, people will shit on me for that. I don't care. I've watched every game of Luka's career. I'm sorry. I don't think he looks anywhere near healthy still, right? But with that being said, he's starting to mesh well with the Lakers. What's meshing well? I mean, they're going longer stretches with him on ball. Like, that's really kind of it. They're going longer stretches with him on the ball. And yeah, I guess that's it, Paul. I guess I leave with the realization that I am a Mavericks fan above all else. I don't know. I fully respect anyone who has made a decision one way or the other about where their fandom goes after this. But, you know, I'm a Mavs fan. I'm going to root for them. That's just the reality. I said it at the start of the game in the playback stream. If you're going to be in the chat moping around, then get the fuck. This isn't the stream for you. Like, we're not going to be doing that. I get so annoyed on Twitter. Like, let me just say this. I had some guy who was replying to me all night last night. And yes, I got one guy. But understand this, though. There's a lot of these one guys out there, right? Who I tweeted about PJ Washington. And I'll just say this real quick. PJ Washington was rage liking some tweets last night. I'll just say that. Which makes me sad because I never, ever say anything bad about PJ Washington. I never say anything bad about PJ Washington, but he was rage liking a few tweets last night, which was weird because none of the tweets had his name in it. But okay, I've been there. Hey, look. PJ, I get it, man. I'm a public facing figure as well. I'm a public figure myself. When people talk about you on Twitter, it's hard not to see it. And hey, look, I get it. I fired off a few subliminal likes myself in my day. Someone's tweeting about me, just letting you know I see it, right? And look, I get it. The PJ, I've been there, bro. I know what it's like, PJ, to be again a public figure, famous, and people talk about you. I understand it, right? I get it. I get subliminal liking tweets. I'm just gonna assume PJ Washington was liking a bunch of tweets and not just mine. He doesn't like the Paul nickname. What's up with the Mavs social media team doing that? When did that happen? The switch to Paul. Rage likes are hilarious, and I've done it myself. Yes, I tweeted a few times about PJ. Only being like, who the fuck is like, what is PJ? This is not PJ. What is going on? This is not PJ Washington. But look, we've been there, and you might think, honestly, thinking about this, right? I know what you guys are thinking slightly. How on earth can you compare yourself to an athlete who has hundreds of thousands of followers? Like, how can you compare? When you think about it like this, realistically speaking, and I'm no troll shit. This is being serious. How many people watch TNT? Like, realistically, a couple million, 1.5 million, 2 million. How many people watch ESPN? 1, 2 million, 3 million people maybe? How many people watch YouTube? Billions. So, in some strange way, you could make an argument that since I am streaming on YouTube, that I potentially am more famous. Now, that's something that you could argue. But yeah, anyways, so that happened last night. I felt bad. PJ was liking my tweets. Love you, PJ. Been there. That's true. How many people watch how many people watch slightly biased streams illegally? Like, we're not even factoring that into the equation. We're not even, thousands watch it legally. How many are watching it illegally? Probably 7 to 8 million would be my guess. We've run some numbers on this behind the scenes. 7 to 8 million, somewhere in that range, probably. Guys, boycott the Mavs with us. I can't. And this goes back to what I was saying. Thank you for bringing me back on track, actually. There's guys who replied to my tweet about PJ. And we're basically, and I'm paraphrasing here, but we're basically like, oh, PJ's always been shit. I'm happy I don't have to root for him anymore. Or it's the same guy did something similar about Kyrie. And it's like, man, you were never a fan. Ever. If this is the way you feel, right? If you've jumped ship and now you're turning around and shitting on the players that you once rooted for, like a month ago, you were never a fan. Ever. You understand? And I'm not gatekeeping fandom. I'm being serious. You were never a fan. That's not how it works. So this was a nice litmus test for anyone who thinks I actually hate Luka. Doug, if I actually hated Luka, I would have been, he would have gotten traded. I said, oh, thank God. Finally, guys, I can just outright say it. I didn't like him. All right, you guys were right this whole time. I didn't like him. I didn't like this, that, and the third. Like, I'm happy. Like, let's move on with our lives. No one's hating the players. Everyone hates the front office. No, I've seen people hate the players. I don't know. I just think that's lame as fuck. Truthfully, I do. I think it's lame. Everyone can do whatever they want, but I think it's lame as shit. Thoughts on people named Paul? Hey, Paul's a good name. We got a couple of Paul statues outside the Slightly Delusional Club. Another hit piece in The Athletic about Luka today. I really don't give a shit about those, man. Is there a new one today? And there he is. Paul's gifted 5 memberships. All right. The what did you eat today story? That's so funny. What did you eat today? Hey, donuts. Another Paul statue. All right, so the game happened, right? And before the game started, Luka debuted the Luka Force. Kind of a surprise thing, right? Was there any rumor talk about that? I've had Luka's name muted on Twitter for a while now. For probably 3 or so weeks. So I have missed quite a bit of... I have missed a good amount of Luka stuff just because I don't want to see it. I got to be honest with you. I muted it because I couldn't do it. It just got annoying to me. It wasn't like an anti-Luka thing. It was just like, I can't go on Twitter. I'm trying to maybe look at something else, and it's just bombarded with shit that makes me feel sad. Luka Fours, in my opinion, these are dreadful. I just think it's been a steady decline for the Luka shoe, which is unfortunate because I've mentioned this. The Luka ones, for me, are some of the better basketball shoes I own. I just think they look really good. I like the colorways of the Luka one. The silhouette's fantastic. One of the better Jordan shoes in a long time, like Jordan players' shoes. The Jordan line itself has been releasing some pretty good shoes. The latest ones, I don't know what number they're on, 30-something. The latest Jordans are nice. The newest ones. What number are they on? 32s? Anyways, yeah, these look like a bad version of the Tatums. I think these look awful. It's something like that. They're in the 30s, I'm pretty sure. But the Luka ones were great. Luka 2s, I thought the silhouette was good. I thought they made some good colorways. I thought the Luka 2s actually looked good. It was kind of controversial, a little polarizing, the Luka 2s. But I thought I liked them personally. The problem is they're bricks on feet. They're bricks on the feet. They hurt badly. They're the worst feeling basketball shoe I own and played in. Luka threes, didn't like them. They look like Skechers shoes to me. Didn't get a pair. These look bad. So they've gone downhill a little bit there. It kind of feels like Jordan just accidentally falls into good shoes every now and then. I mean, Luka, after the Luka 2s dropped, I remember Luka never wore them. Luka was a Luka 1 guy forever. I will get a pair of the Shea shoes. Absolutely. I'm going to get them. These look like shape-ups. Yeah, I don't know. They're giving Skechers. I'm just not a fan. Not a fan of them at all. So anyways, then the basketball game starts. And the Mavericks, it looked like we're en route to get destroyed. The way that the game opened up. Luka pops off in the first quarter. Hits a couple of threes. One of them double-teamed on the wing. Shoots it over him. He makes it. Everyone's like, oh, he's talking shit to the bench. It's just like, oh, man, here we fucking go. Like, we deserve this in a lot of ways, right? But no, they go back and they reverse it. It didn't count. But I feel like the psychological effect of that 3 going in still counted, if that makes sense. Like, yes, they went back and they reversed it because he was standing on the out-of-bounds line before he shot it. Is there any other player that has as many 3-pointers taken off the board than Luka? I'm sure there is. Hasn't Strus? I know Strus had one in the playoffs, but I feel like he kind of gets him taken off the board quite a bit. So Luka pops off in the first quarter. 9 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 of 7. Doesn't shoot well from the field, but you could just tell. The Mavs double team him defensively, send help. Luka makes the right pass every single time. Big reason why the Lakers started off well from 3. Weren't red hot from 3, but we're hitting good looks. Took 23 threes in the first half. And the Mavericks found themselves down by, I believe, 16 at one point late in the second quarter. But to the Mavs' credit, and this is what they've done all year, the Mavs fought back, got the lead down to 8 at halftime, and I was like, okay, all right, hey, they're in this. Max Christie, who had a rough return to Lakers land. 10 points last night, 4 of 13 from the field, 6 assists. That's nice. 1 turnover. But 4 of 13, 2 of 4 from 3. Starts the game off horribly. Looks terrible. But had a huge last 3 minutes of the second quarter where he hits a couple of threes. He hits a couple of threes, and he gets a nasty block on Luka Doncic.
It's been a drought, almost 4 minutes without a basket.
A nasty block on Luka Doncic in transition. That kind of got him going. And honestly, he played pretty well from there on out. The Rui block was crazy. Yeah, Rui played well last night. But hit a couple of threes after that. And I thought settled in and had a pretty nice game. So shout out to Max Christie. It looked like he was seeing ghosts a little bit. I mean, this was an interesting game because it was a playoff atmosphere. You know, there was a lot of emotions. This was the 3 right here that took it down to 8. It's a big moment. And then the Mavs come out in the third quarter, and just for like the next, 20 or so minutes of game time, maybe even more than that, 20 or so minutes of game time, they're within 1, they're tied, they're within 3. They could just never get over the hump. Lakers went 11 of 40 from 3 overall is why the blowout didn't continue, by the way. Yeah, that is true. The Lakers just went ice cold from 3 in the second half, which allowed the Mavs to get back into it. But all in all, I don't think the Mavs played a terrible basketball game, process-wise. I thought they got good looks offensively. The Lakers did a good job. I mean, the guys who they wanted to shoot threes shot threes. But I thought the Mavs did a good job. They generated good looks. Kyrie popped off. Kyrie was awesome last night. 35 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 12 of 27. He was phenomenal. I mean, he continues his All-NBA campaign. And what was best for Kyrie? First quarter, 14 points. Like, that was when the Mavs were really struggling. That was when the role guys for the Mavs were really struggling. They scored 20 points as a team in the first quarter. Kyrie had 14 of them. There was about, I don't know, with 3 or so minutes left in the first quarter, the Mavs had 16 points. Kyrie had 12 of them. So Kyrie was phenomenal. Clay popped off in the second half. 3 threes in the span of about 90 seconds in the fourth quarter. That tied the game. This is why plus minus is a wonky ass stat, guys, for single game stuff. Clay was a minus 20. The Mavs are absolutely not in the game if it were not for Klay Thompson. Kyrie was a minus 10. I mean, can the Mavericks be a top 10 offense for a season-long sample size with his current roster with health? It's just so hard. Like, we're just guessing. Top 10 offensively? I mean, sure. Top 10's really not. I mean, the Rockets are a top 10. I don't know if they still are, but the Rockets were a top 10 offense. Top 5 defense. Oh, absolutely. This team could be the best defense in the league if they're healthy. AD can't come back, yeah. So anyways, the boys fought hard. They clawed their way back into it and just couldn't get over the hump. And yes, that is when having another ball handler would be so nice. And I'm not even doing the Luka thing. I'm just saying in general. This is why at the trade deadline, I was just like, why the fuck did you guys not do something else? I really don't get the logic. You guys have to look at your team and understand that you're lacking in the creation department, on-ball creation department. And when Kyrie's getting double teamed, they're showing help. It just puts a lot of pressure on guys like PJ Washington, who had a major stinker last night. I mean, his worst game as a Mav offensively. Najee Marshall, who was 2 of 7 from the field. Puts a lot of pressure on those guys. McMahon reported the Mavs hope to get Lively and AD back to play some games together before the postseason. Yeah, PJ played well defensively. And I do think the Mavs played pretty well defensively. The Lakers missed some shots, but, I mean, Luka 1 of 7 from 3. You force Luka to take some tough step backs or some deep threes, whatever. We've known this. That's one of the ways you hope to beat Luka, is maybe his shot's just not falling tonight. Mavs in 6 with the 199. I'm worried about Najee in a playoff setting. Oh, I am as well. MP from 2K25 is available. Is that what they still call him, MP? What do they call your player this year in 2K? When was it? The worst one was DJ. That was the dumbest one. That was the dumbest storyline they had. Wait, I quit. I was a top draft prospect and I quit to go be a fucking DJ? Are you kidding me? Like, what kind of story is this? Are you going to do a 12-hour stream on the Bigs reevaluation day? Yeah, maybe. Najee hit a floater over LeBron and gave him a little too small. And I loved it because he gave him the too small, but it was just like, it's like when a little brother celebrates on the big brother a little bit, and he doesn't want him to know he did it. It's like a quick little too small, and then just quickly ran up the court. No, I didn't say anything. The Lakers did. Yeah, the Lakers didn't look good last night. Just straight up. And the Mavericks, you see all these tiny things here and there. You see Kyrie playing at an all-NBA level. Absolutely. Should be an all-NBA player this year. You see Clay still can dig deep and give you that 90-second, 2-minute long stretch where it's like, oh my God, Clay just hit 4 threes. Like, the game's completely different now. You see Max Christie, who had a rough game last night, but Max Christie, the totality of him since he joined the team. Really great role guy. And it's like, man, you're about to plug in the best front court in the league into this mix. And it does change the dynamic a little bit. Lakers or Mavs in playoffs slightly don't dodge. I mean, how do you account for that size? That's what I'm wondering. We do this all the time in the playoffs, and then it's just teams that have size just win. Aaron with the 199. If the Mavs are healthy, what's the playoff rotation? Like, how do you account for the size that the Mavs have? This year, Lakers win? I really don't know. I would pick the Mavericks to win that series. To answer your question, I'd pick the Mavericks against every other team besides the Thunder. I'm just being honest with you. I would think about the Nuggets. I would pick them against every single team. Mavs versus OKC thin. Mavs have a lot more size. The Thunder is where I would push. I would feel a little bit. I mean, the Mavs match up way better against the Celtics now. That much is certain. Yes, this was great for Vegas because the Lakers didn't cover. Luka didn't hit any of his overs. The Mavs didn't win because I bet you there was a good amount of people who are like, my God, we got to bet against the public here. Mavs fully healthy are a matchup nightmare. Yeah, but it's just the continuity piece. By the time the playoffs get here, ideally, this team will have, 2 weeks together? 3 weeks maybe? And then and then they're in the play-in tournament, and they might be the 8 seed. Well, at the 5, like I did last night, had emotion going to the stream, but wasn't going to bring that into the stream. Said go Mavs, wanted y'all let y'all have a good time. I appreciate that. Well. I had Mavs +9, Luka under points, and PJ +15 points. Oh, and a parlay? Damn, slightly looks great and is hiding his pain very well. Thank you. Thank you for that. Couldn't AD be evaluated and still need surgery? Why are people assuming he's back 100%? The way that they talk sounds like he's going to be back this season. I was a AD's going to miss the season truther. Full stop, I was. But I don't think that's the case anymore. If that were the case, I don't think he'd be getting on-court work. Like, we do know Lively's probably going to be back. We do know Gafford should be back. But the Lakers, I mean, it's just Luka, LeBron, Reeves. It's nasty, man. It's nasty. Reeves is a dog. LeBron really didn't play all that well, and then the fourth quarter came around, and he took the. I mean, it's insane. LeBron's 40 years old, man. They will never. I feel confident saying this. I never want to say never because hopefully the league lasts. I mean, hopefully we still have centuries left of the NBA. I don't know if we'll ever see a guy dominate the league as a 19-year-old and dominate the league as a 40-year-old. It's just crazy. We had no size for Rui and Braun. Yeah, and that's why. So people were concerned about the hard doubles. I mean, you have to double team, man. You don't have the size, right? If you single cover Luka, and let's say Luka beats his guy, but you have AD there helping off, Jared Vanderbilt in the corner, and he can slide down and help on a drive. Or you have Lively who can help on a drive, or Gafford who can help on a drive. That's a different story. When you don't have that guy, you really don't have a choice but to double team. You can't let Luka get to his spot because you don't have that help. LeBron being this great sucks for Kevin Durant. Imagine the praise KD beginning at his age if LeBron didn't exist. How about Chris Paul? Like, Chris Paul is, 40 as well? Like, Chris Paul has been great for his age, but nobody gives a shit. Chris Paul's about to turn 40 in a few weeks. Chris Paul cannot hold a candle to Stockton, man. Prime Chris Paul was a motherfucker. Prime Chris Paul is better than prime John Stockton. I'm telling you that right now. Okay. I'm here to tell you that. You kids didn't watch my Wake Forest? Oh, man, that makes me sick to say. We can talk about a current NBA player and say, you kids did watch. Oh. Prime Chris Paul was like a top 3 player in the league, man. Lakers get so many buck naked, wide open threes. Yeah, they do. I mean, Luka, LeBron, and Reeves, all three guys. Reeves to a lesser extent than the other two, but still does put so much pressure on a defense. So much pressure on a defense. But I thought the Mavs did pretty good defensively. I mean, their rotations in the second half were much better. They closed out on shooters much better. They rotated much better. They helped the helper better. Dodo, I thought, played really well defensively in this game. Just another former Mav in this one. 1 of 6 from the field, 0 of 3 from 3. But defensively, I thought he was awesome last night. So was Vanderbilt. The Lakers are good. Don't get me wrong. I don't know. The hierarchy of the West is really weird. Really, really weird. There's so many teams that look completely different than they did before the trade deadline. You got to let Luka play out one-on-one, though. That was a dumb game plan. You don't have the size to do that. You just don't. If AD was there, if Lively was there to help, then I do agree. If healthy, the Mavs can match up with the Lakers in the playoffs. I think you play Luka one-on-one with PJ. Right with the 5. I don't know if you talked about this today, but I'm so tired of the month-long leaks of shit-talking Luka, like from The Athletic, etc. Really drawn out now. All right, is it worth looking into that? You standing by the head shaving? I'm standing by the head shaving. If the Mavs make the finals this year, I'll shave my head. We're going to get into some of the post-game quotes and stuff from Luka, Kyrie. Where is NBA Central tweeting those out? I don't have an Athletic membership. NBA Central. Oh, man. Here we go. Here we fucking go. All right. I really do hate doing this. I said I was done doing this. Nico Harrison reportedly didn't want Planet Mavericks to revolve around Luka Doncic and made it his mission to trade him by the summer. Whispers via league sources suggesting that Dallas decision makers, most notably general manager Nico Harrison, no longer wanted Planet Mavericks to orbit around Doncic and had grown determined to trade him by this summer at the latest. So that confirms what Cato told us in that video, in the Luka trade video, that this trade was going to happen. There's not a world that exists where this trade did not happen. Whether that was now, in the future, it was going to happen. Crazy. Yeah, the wording there, orbit around Luka, like, you know, it's more fat. It's more fat shaming on the Mavs end. The Dallas Mavericks reportedly, what is this Theo Pinson shit? The Dallas Mavericks reportedly had an issue with Luka Doncic smoking hookah and drinking beer. Make no mistake, the people who witnessed Doncic's last days in Dallas do not paint a flattering portrait of the 25-year-old's professionalism. They call him lazy. They talk about the weight issues that were such a frequent frustration within their walls. They mention the social habits that The Athletic has reported on, such as a taste for beer and hookah. I mean, we've all been there. We've all been there. I've never been a hookah guy. Never really understood it. Somebody explain the hookah stuff to me. It's the same way. I kind of feel about. I've been to hookah bars. I don't know. It's the same way I kind of feel about vaping, where it's like, you know what, man? I'm hitting a vape. I'd rather just smoke a cigarette. Like, I'm just being real. I'm just being real. Do we know how bad vaping is for you? We probably fully don't grasp it. Cigarettes stink. there's still just an aura about cigarettes. And I'm not saying you guys should smoke cigarettes. I don't smoke cigarettes. But I'll let you guys know. When I was in Europe this past summer, you want to know what's one of the best feelings in the world? Just walking down a European street and ripping a fucking cigarette. And I started talking in an accent, too. I started talking in an accent. Like, I started to feel different. Like, tourists would walk by and be like, Americans. Stupid Americans. Like, I don't know what the hell got into me. Yeah, I need to get a cigarette sponsorship. Where, though, European country? It's not. London, which London isn't as much. It was more Copenhagen for some reason. Gave off such a cigarette vibe. Amsterdam. England is my city. If I smoke anything, it's going to be a cigarette or a joint. I'm cool as fuck, bro. Never catch me with a pussy vape. I don't like vaping. I just hate the way it smells. I have to be honest with you. I know cigarettes stink. Vapes reek to me, man. It makes my stomach hurt. Like the little like blueberry scent, man. Please do not do that in my presence. It smells so bad. It literally makes my head hurt. Anyways, which have been a point of concern for NBA type since he was a 19-year-old star for Real Madrid who is entering the NBA draft. They predict his basketball demise, highlighting a health history that, as some see it, will likely lead to catastrophe in the next 5 years or so. God. Theo Pinson says the Sixers should shut down. Oh, that's it? All right, let's see if we can get this. Let's see if we can read this. Fuck you. What? How do I get to reader mode? Immersive reader? Hey, sorry, man. Sorry. I had to do it. Luka Doncic powers Lakers past Mavericks with first triple-double of his LA tenure. I will say, the verbiage here, got to be honest. My browser history. What do you guys think my browser history is on my like streaming desktop? What do you guys think? What do you guys think my streaming history or my browsing history is here? Green screen, yeah, green screen issues. Why is my monitor going staticky? It's pretty much all that. DEI politics. How to get better sleep. What does that mean? Why do you think I searched how to get better sleep on? I'm just curious. Why is mic volume low? Yes. All right. First and foremost, LeBron did a lot of the powering. I'm just being honest. That's not any hater shit on my end. That's just honesty. As Luka Doncic prepared to run out of the Los Angeles Lakers tunnel for his pregame warm-up, he was serenaded with cheers and applause by multiple rows of fans wearing a number 77 Lakers and Slovenia jerseys lining the railings. Okay. See, this is what's fucking annoying. The Lakers DJ quickly shifted from hip-hop to Serbia music as Doncic started shooting left-handed floaters. Like, all of this stuff's going to be highlighted. Now, the Mavericks did this shit, man. The Mavericks did this as well. Just letting you know. Sources, somebody close to the Mavericks organization has said LeBron actually did the powering in recent loss to the Lakers. What stings most is that Luka didn't get chance with this team this year, I feel like they would have made a very deep playoff run. Yeah, I mean, I do agree with you. On the other side of the floor, Dallas Mavericks general manager Nico Harrison watched Doncic warm up while he leaned against the scorer's table. A few feet away from him, Anthony Davis, who remains out with an abdominal injury, took set shots around the floor before finishing his warm up with free throws. Do we have any new information here, honestly? Like, this is what's been, and if there's no information, new information here, I'm going to regret doing this, because here's the thing. Oh, wait, this isn't even the article. Okay, I was about to say, what even is this? Where is the article where they were bashing him? It was Stein? Oh, okay. All right, that was a nothing article. And a lot of this stuff that came around, like the kind of interesting information is that they were planning on trading him regardless. The non-interesting information to me is, oh, Luka had a hookah and drinking thing. Yeah, we known that. We have known that. If you've been around, if you've been in Dallas circles, you have known that to be true. There have been rumblings forever. I will just say that. If I'm sure you guys have heard them as well. Been rumblings forever. It's like, hey, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but like Luka's like drinks a lot. Like that's been a rumble. Those have gone around for years upon years. Yeah, it's like fans aren't going to give a shit. Any tips for growing long, beautiful hair like yours? God-given talent. I don't know what to tell you. Couple beers is nothing. No, the rumblings were, it was more than a couple beers. But again, who cares? There's been so many things that have been said behind the scenes, like, hey, in like gossip circles in Dallas Fort Worth, that are like, hey, did you hear X, Y, and Z about Luke? It's like, who gives a shit? I don't care. It's not my life. What'd you do with all the steroid headbands for last season you're providing for Luka? I want one. We threw them away. The doctors, there were some chemicals in there that shouldn't have been in there. Here we go. Let's listen to some of these quotes. Emotions. Luka Doncic was asked if facing the Dallas Mavericks gave him closure about the trade.
Luka, were you looking for some kind of closure with what happened tonight to allow you to move on? And if so, did you feel like you got that?
I mean, the closure is going to take a while, I think. It's not ideal. But, like I said, I'm glad this game is over. There's a lot of emotions. But we go little by little, and every day is better.
Luka, were you looking?
Is a rumbling like a rumor, but even less evidence? You're in rumblings. Yeah, I mean, they're people say shit all the time about Dallas athletes. Like, especially if you have friends who work in like service industries, you hear shit all the time about these guys. Especially if you have friends who work in like higher end restaurants, you hear stories all the time about Dallas athletes. Like stories all the time. One, Dak Prescott, apparently, incredible guy. Apparently, like one of one, incredible human being. Everything that I've heard. Ezekiel Elliott, let's just say, I wasn't too happy when Ezekiel Elliott came back to the Cowboys. I haven't heard anything bad about any Mavs players, honestly. Dwight Powell, apparently an incredible human being. My audio is bad today? Really? Luka Doncic on seeing his old Dallas Mavericks teammates for the first time since being traded to the Los Angeles Lakers.
You have the handshake with Kyrie that you guys had in Dallas to start this game here. You go over to see Derek Lively after the game. Is there a specific moment, maybe with your old teammates, that you could share with us what that was like?
I mean, yeah, you know, Kai is my hermano. We go way beyond basketball, so it was good to see those guys. Like I said, we went to wars together, and it was really fun to see them all.
Luka, you have the handshake with Kyrie.
Luka Doncic was asked if he saw Nico Harrison. Oh, God. Was asked if he saw Nico Harrison during his pregame workout and if he's ever experienced anything similar to this trade in his life. What a dumb fucking question. No offense.
A two-part question. One, I don't know if you saw Nico Harrison was there on the court when you were warming up and then sitting right behind the Mavericks bench, if you thought about going over to him or saying anything to him at all. And then just the second part is, have you ever had anything like this trade happen to you in your life? Like whether, I don't know, a breakup or something like that. Have you ever had anything like this experience?
No, definitely not. That was different. I definitely didn't have like that. But yeah, I didn't see him in warm-ups.
Not at all. Not at all. Just not in the warm-up.
Hey, Luka, you got traded in the middle of the night. Literally never been traded in your life. Have you ever experienced something like this? ESPN's finest, folks. ESPN's finest.
Coming into tonight, live, your teammates express excitement for you to have this game, to come to be a play against the Mavericks. What did their excitement do for you? I guess, how did you feel, I guess, their energy, not just tonight, but coming into tonight for you?
Sorry, can you repeat?
How did you feel your teammates' energy, I guess, galvanize around for you coming into tonight?
It was great. You know, like I saw Dodo say, you know, we got his back, you know, and it was amazing. You know, they're trying to push me. I know I didn't play great, but you know, I'm glad we got the win, and you know, they're trying to push me more and more.
Who were coming in?
Amazing. It's amazing. Luka, in your experience of never being traded, have you ever experienced a trade before? I don't care about the LeBron question that much, to be honest with you. Luka Doncic felt it was so weird facing the Dallas Mavericks, but glad his Los Angeles Lakers won.
You turned and let out that roar.
I'm glad it's over, honestly. I am too. I am as well. It's amazing. Kyrie Irving said it was awkward as shit to play against Luka Doncic. For the first time since he was traded from the Dallas Mavericks to Los Angeles Lakers, it was fun. We got a chance to feel like we were in practice all over again, going at each other. It's honestly a hilarious answer.
A lot about the emotions of tonight's game, and part of that included you. He called you mi hermano. What was it like going against him?
Awkward as shit. You know, it was awkward, but
awkward.
You know, now I could talk about the emotions of it. Yeah, no, it was awkward, but at the same time, it was fun. You know, we got a chance to, feel like we were in practice all over again, going at each other. You know, that was a good reflection point. And then just, seeing the crowd cheer for him and just get him going and see him make some of the tough shots that I've seen him make thousands of times. That's probably made it even more awkward. But, it was fun. It was fun competing. A lot of high-level basketball players out there, a lot of high-level plays, high IQ plays. It's what you want to be a part of as a competitor. And you could tell J.J. Redick was trying to prepare the guys emotionally, especially Luka, and I feel like he handled himself well. It was a good show out in L.A.
I think Kyrie looks great. Honestly, I think he does. Clean shaven. Kyrie Irving talked about how his relationship with Luka Doncic goes deeper than basketball. He credited the team's historic 12-day preseason trip, which included Abu Dhabi and Madrid, as key opportunities to connect. This is one of those lifetime things for me. It's a nice answer. I'm not going to listen to all the quotes anymore. Kyrie Irving believes the Dallas Mavericks' potential after injured players return from the lineup. Irving wants Anthony Davis to get fully healthy or as close to 100%, but is excited about the potential. Irving added, "Our margin for error right now is really small." Kyrie Irving on paying respects to Kobe and Gigi Bryant's statue. I needed that before the game just for my own peace of mind as I move forward in my healing journey. Kyrie Irving was asked how Luka Doncic has handled the possible feeling of rejection caused by being traded to the Dallas Mavericks. By the Dallas Mavericks to the Los Angeles Lakers. Irving added, "I don't think he expected the change." Kyrie's probably annoyed having to answer all these fucking questions. Like, how do you think LeBron and Luka are meshing together? Like, I don't give a fuck. I'm not on the team. Jason Kidd was asked about Luka Doncic's approach against the Dallas Mavericks. I thought he picked the spots. He was able to find his teammates. He was Luka. He drove it, made plays, and also finished. He fills up the stat sheet like no other player. That's it. Kyrie's not going to LA, man. He's just not. What? Like, he'd have to take a minimum contract, wouldn't he? No, it's also not what they need. You're 100% right. Look, Kyrie's staying here, guys. I feel so confident in saying that. I feel so confident in saying that. The Mavs are going to pay him. 1, 2. Mavs are going to pay him 1, 2. I still stand by this, and I'm not. This isn't based off of anything. It's just my feelings. I do not think the Mavericks do this if they really feel like Kyrie's going to leave. Honestly, I do not think the Mavericks do the Luka trade if they actually feel like Kyrie's going to leave. And also beyond that, I felt that if Kyrie thought the trade happened and Kyrie's like, I'm out of here, we would have heard by the trade deadline. We would have heard by the trade deadline. Why would the Mavs pay Kyrie 50 to 55 million a year and not Luka 60 million a year being 7 years younger? They don't like Luka. That's just it. We do not like Luka. That could have been the tumultuous offseason. Let me tell you guys this. The tumultuous offseason. I've said this, I'll say it again. The tumultuous offseason. What do the Mavs mean when they say that? They say this. They're saying this. We weren't going to extend Luka. That's what they mean when they say that. It wasn't like, oh, we think Luka was going to ask out. They were not going to extend him at the number he wanted. That would have been the tumultuous offseason. That's what they mean when they say that. Kyrie to the Mavs was a mistake in the first place? No, it was not. They didn't like Luka. They don't like Luka, man. They don't.
Traded mid-season in the fashion that he did. It was like Super Bowl week.
Where the hell's that coming from?
We were in a Super Bowl a couple.
I don't get going after Clay with the talk of needing defense. Genuinely, where did that audio come from? Nico hates Euros, total xenophobe. I'm happy. I'm surprised it took this long to get to that point. Nico is racist. Nico hates Europeans. I'm surprised it took that long, but we are here. Oh my God, guys. I just now remembered something. All right, let's move on. I just now remembered that. I'm just excited that I remembered something for once. I just remembered that softball season starts tomorrow night. Man, opening day is here. Can't wait, man. I got a pair of batting gloves that should be coming in today. Gonna hit a dinger, hopefully. I'm usually very rusty. I'm usually very rusty to start the season. Almost like I've never swung a bat, man. But once I get going, woo! And you guys want another trick? Go to the gym before. No, I don't drink beer before. I don't drink before softball or during softball. Look, I take this shit seriously, man. One thing you guys need to understand, and you guys wouldn't know unless you played sports with me, I am disgustingly competitive at times. Disgustingly. I don't give a fuck if it's a beer league softball game. What you hitting for? 350? You think I'm hitting 350 in slow pitch softball? Seriously? We kept stats one year. I think I hit 830. I think that's what it was. Me and another guy were in the batting title race, and we were both over 800. What happened in the Mavs Twitter tournament then? I was disgusted by that loss, and I've been disgusted by that loss since it happened, and I haven't slept the same since. Which range do you consider the closest comparison to your softball play? Playoff postseason at Dallas Garcia. Is there a pitcher that gives you fits in your league? No. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. We could tell you haven't slept. Is that why the glasses have been retired? Yeah, the fun and games were over. The moment that Mavs Twitter tournament loss, the moment that game concluded, fun and games ended. Right? Would you be in the pros if it was 100 years ago in baseball? If I went back to my high school playing days when I was good, you gave me a little bit of trading, maybe. I'm being serious, maybe. I'm being honest. 1915. I mean, what were we talking about back then, man? They were eating hot dogs during the game. I mean, come on, they were eating fucking hot dogs. How fast were they throwing then? They were doing meth at halftime. How fast were they throwing? 150? Hell no. 80? They're throwing 80 miles an hour? You look like a mixture of Rafael Fazive and Brad Pitt. Well, I know who Brad Pitt is. Thank you very much. Who's Rafael Fazive? That is such a strange combination of people. That is such a strange combination of people. Who sees this guy as combine that guy with Brad Pitt? It's so crazy to me how UFC is just a different language. I don't know anyone. You could tell me this guy's the best fighter of all time, and I wouldn't know any better. Just because this guy is blonde and at certain points has long hair and a beard does not mean I look like him. Did you see Wendy using his stomach as an armrest? Jesus Christ. The hell are you guys talking about in here? No, I'm taking the compliment. That's a nice compliment. What were we just talking about? Oh, 85 was the average. All I'm saying is, take me back then. It's not impossible. I look like a mixture of extremely biased and not biased. Say that again? Satchel Paige? I couldn't touch Satchel Paige. 103. Have I told you guys the funny Satchel Paige story? Have I told you guys this story before? This is the beauty of innocence in a child. I don't remember what grade I was in. Third, maybe. Maybe 8 years old. We did a living wax museum. Like, it was a project. We all picked like a historical character, a historical figure. Learned everything there was to learn. Dressed up like them. The parents would walk around, tap your shoulder, and you'd be like, "Hey, I'm blah, blah, blah from blah, blah, blah," right? It was a fun little school project. And I was obsessed with baseball. And I was finally, I was starting to learn a little bit. You know, I was reading the little books, you know the books that you get when you're younger. It's just like the history of, and it's just like a kid's book. And I had a history of baseball one, and I was enamored by the Negro Leagues. Like, I loved it. I loved it. I loved all the players, and I loved Satchel Paige. Satchel Paige was my hero growing up. And so to this wax museum, I went as Satchel Paige. I had my baseball uniform and everything. And, you know, I'm an innocent kid. I don't know any better. And I'm telling my kids that my parents, I want to go. And in my 8-year-old brain, I wanted to, you know, go the full. I wanted to go all out. I wanted to look like them. But thank God my parents were like, no. My parents were like, no, you're fine. You should be good with the baseball jersey. I was like, no, I don't look like them. They're like, no, it's good. Trust me, you look just like them. Can you imagine? Oh, God. It was funny because the parents, and I do remember this, the parents would come around, they'd tap me, and they'd be like, "Who are you?" I'd be like, "Satchel Paige." And they'd be like, "Oh, okay." Like, oh, all right. How is that racist? What? I think that's the opposite. What's going on here? Why do I have this now? Why is this Rafael Fazeev is just on my thing? I know someone that did that for Elvis Andrus, but his parents were not as smart as yours. You want a funny Satchel story? While the NGL one batter was talking shit, he called the entire outfield and infield to sit behind the mound and strike out 3 guys in a row. Yeah, I've heard that story. Did you know that for a promotional event, the Oakland Athletics brought Satchel Paige back when he was 57 years old, and he pitched 3 innings of scoreless baseball? Legend. I think I was your waiter when you and your friends went to Time Machine Burger years ago. Glad to see you. I haven't been. Magical Time Machine, is that what it's called? I haven't been there in probably over a decade. Him or Nolan Ryan? Satchel was, I mean, it was rumored that Satchel was hitting like 105 plus. V-Lone was not silenced. He removed his message. Magic Time Machine does exist. I was over that way a couple weeks ago, and I just saw that too. I was like, damn, I can't believe that's still there. Anyways, I always think that story's funny. I was obsessed with Satchel Paige. I loved him. And Roberto Clemente. Loved them. Those are my favorite players growing up. My favorite like old players. Then my favorite baseball player ever, Michael Young. That's just that's who you grow up watching. Michael Young was the best player on the Rangers. Whenever now, not by advanced metrics, but I was a that boy nice enjoyer. So Michael Young was my favorite player growing up. Microsoft Edge. I wouldn't want to reward Microsoft for constantly spamming advertisements for Edge on the OS. So Zach with the $5. I was kind of hoping slightly would give up on the Mavs and move over to covering the Thunder. Love his content, which was for my favorite team. We're going to cover more teams. It's just, this is the biggest story in the league right now. So I love Josh Hamilton, yeah, but also just came to my first Mavs game on Friday against the Pels. Herb Hero Bar was pretty sick. Oh yeah, I like Hero across the street. It's called Chop Sports now. They've changed their name a million fucking times. Chop Shop, Chop Sports, Sports Chop. No, it's Chop Sports. Is better in my opinion. More of a dive bar-y type of experience. Playoffs going to be batshit crazy this year. Playoff basketball is going to be nuts. I really don't know. I think the Thunder, honestly, I would. So I was having this conversation with one of my friends who's a Thunder fan, and I'd be interested to hear y'all's, and Zach, you as well, y'all's thoughts on this. I personally think it would be a failure if the Thunder do not win the West. Now, my friend who's a fan of the Thunder did not agree and said conference finals, but I just thought 2 years in a row, being the 1 seed, you're going to be mid-60s in wins. You're going to have a historic regular season. I don't know if just like winning a couple playoff series is good enough. But that's just how my brain kind of operates. And I'm also more thinking about it. If they do flame out in the playoffs, the reasoning would be, like if I had to guess, the reasoning would be J-Dub kind of underachieves again. Chet maybe underachieves again in the playoffs. And if that is the case, I would consider that a failure, because then I think you have some very interesting questions that have to be asked. Because your team's going to be incredibly expensive soon. That's something else to consider here. I know they're young, but you're going to have to start paying these guys soon. Losing in the conference finals will be a disappointment, but not a failure, in my opinion. They have enough resources to pivot, but it can't drag on too long. We've already blew one window. Yeah, I guess I could see conference finals. Like if they play the Nuggets in the conference finals and Jokic goes God mode, that I think you could just be like, all right, that sucked, but just be a little bit more patient. But if they lose in round 2 or some shit, Giddey maybe having a better year than Caruso. Giddey's been balling lately. Who will OKC lose in a season or two? I mean, I don't know which players they're going to have to move off of, but J-Dub is what, year 3? So that contract, is he extension eligible this summer? Are J-Dub and Chet extension eligible this summer? Year 3? Is that when you become extension eligible? Yeah, damn. And J-Dub might make an all-defensive team, or he's going to make an all-defensive team for sure. Does that affect his contract? Nuggets team is so badly, poorly constructed. Jokic, the Lakers, literally played 1 versus 5 against them. Yeah, I know. The Nuggets they've done a really poor job. Really poor job building their team out. Am I crazy to think SGA winning MVP doesn't make him better than Jokic? I mean, Shea's having an unreal season, man. An unreal season. The Thunder are going to pay. The Thunder are going to pay Chet. They have Aaron Wiggins on a stupid friendly deal. They extended Caruso at a pretty good number. So they're not like hamstrung currently by any bad contracts. So them paying their own guys is fine. But it's going to be an expensive roster soon. All right, should we watch the Kenny Beecham video? I never got around to watching it. We watched like the first 5 minutes of it. What's your thoughts on the Wolves coaching calling Shea a free throw merchant? I mean, coaches cry about free throws all the time. Jada making an all-NBA team, so you have to max him. Does all defense count towards that? I always get confused about this shit. Oh, so do the Kyrie 2s? The Kyrie 2s are dropping soon. Is like the fur, is that like just part of the shoe? Just defensive player of the year? Okay, all right. Am I concerned about D-Live when it comes to injuries? Yeah. I mean, how can you not be? Dear NBA, 4 days ago, 530,000 views.
This is the Emirates Premium Economy Suite.
Do I not have YouTube Pro? Whatever the fuck it's called?
Perhaps they need to call it something else.
Get a final expert
Oh
review
my
before
God.
you file at no extra charge with TurboTax Live Assisted.
Tax is coming up.
Can I vent to y'all? Can I rant for a little second?
Yeah.
Because right now I'm really, really frustrated about the discourse surrounding our league right now. And the real simple solution to all of this is for me.
1.5 speed. I hate to do it, but 1.5 speed. Did my taxes today? I'll do them in March at some point.
To close my phone. But that's just so much easier said than done. So there's been a lot of conversations around our league, especially since the All-Star break. And listen, I want to say this right here, right now. I love the NBA. I love basketball, but I really, really do love the NBA. But even as a lover of the NBA, a guy that fell in love with the league in 2003 is watching now 21, 22 seasons of the NBA. I understand it is very far from a perfect product. The NBA games start too late compared to the scheduled time. There are too many stoppages to play. I can recognize the negative aspects of our league. Hell, I just dropped a video about All-Star Weekend where I was telling you everything I hated about it. So I am not one of those people that think that everything is perfect. But there are certain conversations that happen about our league that I just...
What? Do we have any reasons for why the game starts so late? Has it been explained to us? That's just one thing I don't understand at all. $1.25. The video is 22 minutes long, guys. West Coast? Yeah, no, but what I'm saying is, why do the games start 12, 13, 14, 15 minutes past scheduled tip? That part I don't get. It's got to be TNT and ESPN maximizing TV ratings, but it's like even the local games do the same thing. I think it is advertising. It's get people watching the game. All right, game starts at 7:30. Well, it doesn't start for another 15 minutes, but here's 15 minutes of ads, basically. I know it's always been like that. I just don't get it. It's annoying as shit.
Truly do not understand, and I feel like people are just repeating the same rhetoric that they heard someone else say and like, yep, that's got to be it. When the reality is, it's really not. And I think I'm definitely not taking no shots because these guys are absolute legends. Everybody that I may refer to in this video, absolute legends, done things that I would never be able to accomplish, way more successful than all of that to me. But I think a lot of this stems from some of the people we put on TV to talk about our sport, whether it be the inside.
Hey, Kenny, I know that you're trying to be political. I'll take the shots. Inside the NBA is terrible now. It's fucking terrible. It's horrible. It's bad. All right, it's bad. It's time to let that show ride off into the sunset. It just is. And I've said this so many times. If I was Adam Silver, I'm putting my foot down to my broadcasting companies. You guys do not get to broadcast our games. You guys do not get to broadcast our games and just constantly shit on our league while you do it. That's not happening. That's not happening. We are not letting you guys do that.
At the NBA guys, whether it be Draymond Green over All-Star Weekend, it feels like we just don't have a selection of on-camera media that says anything positive about the league. Again, this league is very far from not warranted criticism. Give the criticism, but it can't be the only thing that we talk about. It can't be the only thing we talk about. And I think the reason why I'm so frustrated with this, because I started the brand, this is not a plug or anything, Name Enjoy Basketball, because some of these people, or some of the things when I turn on ESPN, or I turn on Fox Sports, or I turn on whatever, I watch these shows, or at least I used to watch these shows, and I'm like, are we watching the same thing? Are we watching this? Where are the people that genuinely love the game?
Why do I hate it? Hate Inside the NBA or whatever? I just think it's an entertainment show through and through. That's always been the case. If you go to Inside the NBA for your analysis on the game, here's what's happening around the league, you're at the wrong spot. And that's how it's always been. It's always been fun. Shaq'd and a fool. EJ's Nito, stat of the night. That's all been fun. That's always been hilarious. And they are funny. They have great chemistry. I think their chemistry is maybe a little overstated. I do think Shaq is just an interesting side piece in this. But they're hilarious together. I think as the years have gone on, though, and they're getting older, one, still hilarious, but two, I think it's becoming more and more obvious that they're just not paying as close attention to the league anymore. Right? Am I wrong in that? It just feels like as time has gone on, it feels more and more obvious that they're not paying super close attention to the league. Loki said the NBA has been bad since Shaq joined. They used to somewhat make up for it. No, if you see clips from Inside the NBA before 2011 or whenever that was, yeah, it was pretty elite, especially when Chris Webber was on there. They become Kevin Hart, was funny, but now just kind of irritating. Well, I think also too is just how many times can we do the same this league kind of sucks. It was better when we played joke. At a certain point, it just becomes all right, we get it, dude. We understand. I saw a clip going around of Kenny Smith talking about Kyrie Irving, and I shit you not. Let me see if I can find it. I shit you not. I did not expect this to go the direction it did. Kenny Smith said, Kyrie Irving doesn't have the best handles ever. We all used to have those handles. Where the fuck was it? Why is it so hard to search for things on Twitter, man? I'm not kidding. It's the clip was insane. But I can't find it right now. But he was on a podcast, and I'm paraphrasing, but he was basically like, yeah, Kyrie and Steph don't have the best handles ever. Everyone used to have those handles in the 90s. We just couldn't do it. You get pulled from the game. That was something he fucking said. And it's dude, what are you saying, bro? What are you saying? Come on. That sounds ridiculous.
Game. This is the only sport of the major sports, the NFL, the MLB, hockey, hell, soccer, that the past players just look down on the current generation. Hell, even some of the current players is looking down on their peers, which just blows my mind. Now, you do got the occasional NBA old head that absolutely respects the game that it is right now. I love listening to Kevin Garnett talk about hoops because he is also critical when necessary, but he'll let you know so-and-so player is an absolute dog. Jason Tatum is an absolute dog, and I don't think that's just because he's a Boston legend. Jason Tatum's an absolute dog. Where I could turn on someone else talk about the Boston Celtics, and he's the softest superstar in the history of basketball. Are we talking about hoops or are we not? That's why I love players like Allen Iverson.
Softest superstar in the history of basketball is hilarious.
Kyrie's got a great handle for the NBA. He's got the best, but no, he's not the best handle I've seen. It's funny because I watched today's game from Kyrie and Steph, and they was like, oh, that's the best. I was like, that's the stuff we did at home. It really was the way we played when we're home, but we would never do it in a game. Everybody had that.
The game wasn't ready for it.
No, it was like you get pulled out. You get chastised for doing the stuff that guys do today. But everybody had that in their repertoire. Everybody. No, that's not the best handle I've seen ever.
What is the point of, what is the point of saying shit like this, man? What? Like maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong because I don't follow these other sports as closely. But this would be like, what's a good comparison for this? This would be like Dan Orlovsky going on First Take and being like, man, back when I played, we all could throw like Patrick Mahomes. Like we all could do what Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson do. We just didn't do it. Like we all could have done what Lamar Jackson does. But we just didn't do it. You know, that's not how it was back then. Like, I'm trying to imagine, I mean, baseball is pretty bad, too, about this shit, to be fair. But imagine, like... imagine, like, Kevin Minch coming out and being like, Shohei Ohtani? We all could do that. We all could throw 101 miles an hour and hit 50 home runs and steal 50 bases. We just, that wasn't like, we weren't allowed to. We all could do it. We all used to do the no-look pass to Stafford and Mahomes do. We used to play in the yard and do it. We just weren't doing it in the game. I mean, the baseball purists are slightly worse in my opinion. Oh, baseball is bad with this shit as well. Absolutely. I mean, dude. MLB pulled ESPN's game rights. You know how crazy that is? Allen Iverson's good. There are a few NBA legends who are good about talking about the league currently. I think Vince Carter's really good. No, I think they're keeping it this year, right? It's just the year after it's done. Jamal Crawford is great, yeah. Just like, what do you mean? We all used to have handles like that. We just couldn't do it. Like, bro, come on. What are you saying?
Iverson, who doesn't do a lot of appearances, but every time you put a microphone in front of Allen Iverson, he is giving praises to the younger generation. Luka, Shea, I mean, Bron, they played against each other for years, but like they just give all the amount of love, and I love that type of coverage. You can talk all the trash you want about Reggie Miller and the way he covers the game or him as an analyst, but damn it, he loves basketball. And I feel that when I listen to him talk about a game. I feel the same way about like a Jamal Crawford who hasn't done a ton of broadcast media, but when I watch him cover a Knicks game, he's out there enjoying, like you can tell they have this love for the game and they're not these stuck up, bitter old heads about the new generation. The reality is things evolve. It always has evolved. Every single era of basketball is different than the last.
You want to know why that's the case? It's because outside of Allen Iverson, I could be wrong. Has Jamal Crawford done like game stuff? He's like done game stuff for TNT, right? Like live broadcast. Now, Reggie Miller can be annoying for sure, but he is I agree with Kenny here. You could tell he does very much love the game. The thing is those guys like do play-by-play color commentary. So they're actually watching the games. I think the big problem is I don't think a lot of these people watch. I'm just being honest. I don't think they watch. I really don't. Like, I don't. I'm just going to be upfront and honest with you, man. I don't think Shaq watches. I don't. I really don't. I really, really don't. Eddie Johnson can be a little annoying because he's a very big homer for the Suns, right? So from a neutral perspective, it can be kind of annoying to listen to, but he does love the game. But also, what else was I about to say? Someone said Bill Simmons before. Bill Simmons, we kind of make fun of him. I've said this. Bill Simmons is the GOAT to me. I absolutely love and adore him. I look up to him. I think he's incredible. We poke fun at him here and there, but only because he's the greatest to ever do it. That's why, right? Bill Simmons is actually a great ambassador for the league. Honestly, he is. He knows his shit. Historically speaking, he does a great job of like tying in historical aspects of the league and tying it in with the modern day. And he has his criticisms of the league for sure, but you can tell he still loves it. He still thinks it's great. And that's what's important is when you hear criticisms of the league, where does it come from? When you hear Bill Simmons talking about it, you know it comes from a place of legit love for the league. And I take his opinions very seriously because I know he spends every fucking night watching the NBA. I know Kenny spends every night watching the NBA. You know, former players, it's difficult to be like they don't watch anymore, but a lot of them don't. ESPN was continuously posting this PK Subban clip. I don't give a shit what PK and Subban has to say about the fucking NBA. I don't care. And I'm not doing this from the lens of like let him, PK Subban can talk about the league. I don't care. But what I'm saying is, why should anybody care? Why are these clips going viral? PK Subban says the league should do X, Y, and Z. He openly says one of the clips he hasn't watched in a decade. Why the fuck do I care what he says? I don't give a shit what PK Subban has to say. Why the hell do I care? God bless him. Like, when it comes to hockey stuff, I'm sure he's great. I don't know. Maybe he's not. I don't know. Can't wait to have 10 years of Draymond and Bismack Biyombo talking about how they would dominate the current NBA. I do see the Draymond stuff going bad. Tim Legler's great. Yeah, I mean, the guys who are doing the games are always good. Is Bismack Biyombo a media guy, or is that just a random name?
That doesn't make this era any worse than any of the other ones. It is just so ridiculous to me. And one of my least favorite talking points that people have, and damn it, I've seen it on TV, I've heard it in the barbershop, when people talk about everybody playing the same way, blows my mind. You cannot convince me that the Boston Celtics, the Atlanta Hawks, the Cleveland Cavaliers, the Utah Jazz, the Minnesota Timberwolves all have the same style of basketball. Are we being real? How many games are you really watching? And it really blows my mind when a guy like Draymond Green says, because damn it, you've been in the league for 15 years.
This is the dumbest shit. I agree 100%. I don't understand how anyone thinks this way. It is just, I mean, I get the three-point shooting stuff. Like, yes, every team's attempting more threes. It doesn't mean every team's playing the exact same way. The amount of coverage they are reiterating that three-point shooting and no defense are the big reasons ratings are low tells me they don't watch. Yeah, the no defense thing is just so frustrating to hear be said. It's like, how do you think that? Seriously. You think teams are just not trying from three? You think teams are just like, hey, guys, we're changing our game plan. I was just on Twitter last night, and, there's just one Twitter account. Something Clipper something. God, he fucking annoys the shit out of me. He's a little baby, man. You're acting like a child. You're acting like a child, man. I grew up, I watched basketball in the mid-2000s. That shit was bad. You understand? That was not good. Take your nostalgia glasses off. God, what's that guy's name? Clip or something? Oh, it's so annoying. Every day he's crying about something new. Every day he's crying. And my least favorite thing is when they'll clip like, look at this sequence. NBA's ruined. It'll be like a random ass regular season game. There was that one that was going around where the Lakers missed like 3 threes in a row. It was a 30-point game. The game was over. It was like, NBA's ruined. It's like, okay, cool. Bring back the shades. No one wants to see those baggy eyes. I'm looking at your post history, and you're probably about to get banned permanently. I'm just letting you know right now. Jacob the Clipper. Yeah, that's who it is.
In the league for 15 years and you play for a team that has a very unique style of play, but everybody plays the same. One of the things Draymond Green said over the All-Star break was talk about the homogenization of the NBA, how everybody's running the same play. And of course, he's talking about the pick and roll. The pick and roll has been dominating the league for 20 plus years. Basically, since the triangle offense kind of died out after Tex Winter and the Chicago Bulls, six championships in 10 years, or whatever, 8 years. The triangle offense kind of died, other than when like Phil Jackson was a part of the Knicks, and the pick and roll became king. And then eventually it evolved even more. Well, now the high pick and roll evolved the game, where there was times where it was James Harden or Trae Young or Luka Doncic running high screen and roll. You have two guys in the corner, and that's their style of play. And granted, teams did run that way, but this is a 30-team league. The way Luka plays, the way Trae plays, the way James Harden plays, every team can't play like that. You know why? Because they don't have the fucking dogs of a ball handler that can make that an efficient offense. So when
I've been saying this about the Luka ISO hero ball forever. ISO ball can't work. It's like, well, it can't work with a lot of guys. Sure, like yes, the ISO ball with Colin Sexton as your main guy is probably not going to work. Like yes, ISO ball with Paolo Banchero, God bless him, probably is not going to work the same way it'll work for Luka. Same way it'll work for Luka or a prime James Harden.
Draymond Green talks about the homogenization of basketball. It blows my mind. This is a real stat. Let me go to my notes, because y'all know I watch a lot of basketball and I listen to a lot of broadcasts and I listen to a lot of people that are way smarter than me talk about basketball. Here's a real stat. This is from this season. This season, the NBA is setting 65.4 ball screens per 100 possession, which is the lowest average in the second spectrum era. The second spectrum goes through the last 12 years. It's not.
Finally, a meal service that works for men.
That's interesting. Your mic is distorting slightly. Check your gain. Is it only when I scream? Mic is fine.
Year sample size. So if Draymond Green is talking about the homogenization of basketball, that everybody's running the same thing, then that's the case from 12 years ago.
Finally, a food service that works for men?
Where everybody says the league was peak. It is the lowest that it.
Do you guys use any of these, the little meal things? Factor? I have a buddy who had one once, and somebody stole his package, so he was without food for a week. I could kind of see it make sense. And if you guys don't mind me invading your personal space, is it like is it for one? Because cooking for one person is hard. It is. It's hard. It's hard to get like the portions. It's hard to get. Luka stole the package. Please get premium. I honest to God thought I had it. I'll look at it in a second. Cook for 2. Cook for 4 and stay for the rest of the week. Yeah. The only problem is I get bored.
Has been in 12 years, and I feel that when I watch these games.
I enjoy cooking. I think I'm pretty good at cooking, so therefore I like doing it myself.
I feel it. I'm watching 4 to 5 games a night, and I'm always seeing something different. Yes, the three-point ball is king. That is something that I cannot deny, but the way those three-pointers are generated objectively is just different. Some teams are doing it off ball screen. Some teams are doing with dribble penetration kick out. Some teams are doing a dribble handoff. Some teams are running a high screen and roll, hoping that you drop and so Jason Tatum can shoot the 3. This league is as diverse as it ever has been. And if you don't believe me, well, we can go to the numbers, baby. Here's an article written by my guy Mark Shayer, and it's a guy I think I referenced on this channel before. Our NBA team's playing the same. This is from the beginning of the season, November 21st, 2024. Now, here's one of the graphs: percentage of time in each play style, and this stems from 2004 to 2025. And what you will see is, yes, this season, and as we continue to evolve, spot up three-point shooting or spot up shooting in general is higher than it was in 2004, 2005. Transition offense, and that's the thing I want to talk about, is higher. But some things that were just not great watches is gone. I'm sorry. I listen. Michael Olowokandi getting a post touch is something I don't want to see in 2024.
I'm not gonna lie. I do like the post. I do like the post game. I'm gonna be honest with you. I do like the post game quite a bit, and I really do appreciate the guys who still get it done with the post. But I do agree. I mean, everyone used to get post touches, man. If you were taller than 6'8", you get a few post touches a game. It didn't matter how good you were. It doesn't matter. Do you want me to share my YouTube Premium so you have no more ads? No, I have YouTube Premium. It must be on a different account. Remember how frustrating it was when we force-fed KP post touches game after game? Yeah, I mean, what makes it even more frustrating is KP, in theory, should be good at posting up and is good at posting up, except when he was on the Mavs. Anyone remember the Sean Bradley post touches where he would dribble once and the entire fan base would have a heart attack? I mean, there was the Kendrick Perkins post touches. I'm 6'4". They send me the post and pickup games. Yeah, if you're 6'2" or up, really, in a lot of ways, one of the worst heights to be. And why do I say that in pickup games? Because there's a decent chance you'll be the tallest player on your team. Like, depending on the type of run you're at, there's a decent chance, if it's like a random LA run, a decent chance if you're 6'3", you might be the tallest player on your team. God forbid the other team actually has like a 6'6", 6'7" guy, because you're about to have a fucking miserable time. Post scoring can create the highest value shot if you have a good team. Kick out threes are the best threes. They draw fouls. Shots around the rim are efficient. Yeah, I mean, I love an efficient post up guy. I love Luka post ups. I love Luka post ups. Used to beg for them basically. I love a guard post up. I love a Kyrie post up. You got 6'6" dudes in your pickup games where every now and then one will stumble in and you're just like, fuck. That is true. Like we have even weeded out the decent post guys, and now it's like you pretty much have to be an elite post player to be a guy that regularly gets post touches. Ben Rodgers in the post. Ben Rodgers is a big guy, tall guy. It depends on your run though. Like I've played with like 6'9" dudes before who like just refuse to go inside the paint or inside the 3-point line. Because one, they don't want to, and two, it's just who's that fun for? I'm 6'4", 275. If I even step out of the paint, my team will send me to the locker room and I can shoot, but that don't mean a damn thing to anyone. The good for nothing bigs. Well, it's also too, it's just like if you're 6 inches taller than the next tallest dude, I mean, especially if you're good, those guys like they won't lose. So it depends. If it's just like a fun pickup run, if there's 35 people in this gym and we want to stay on the court, different. My little brother, 6'8", is actually pretty frustrating watching him sometimes in high school because he almost exclusively played around the perimeter.
Who's the NBA equivalent? Alex Len getting a post touch for the Lakers is something that I'm happy is cut out of basketball. So with it being lower, I think that's good for the game.
This is an interesting graphic. It's interesting that ISOs are so down. I mean, that makes sense. But that does kind of poke a hole in some people's arguments about the game. Pick and roll's higher. Spot ups are way higher. That makes sense. I'm assuming transition, you can see right there, transition's up. I'm assuming driving is higher. So much of offense right now is driving kick based.
And one of the things that we need to recognize here is this transition, because this transition frequency being higher now than it was in 2014 and 2004 is one of the reasons why we do get so many spot up 3-point shots. The game is faster and defenses have to react faster, which means that if I'm getting back on defense, it's impossible to cover everything. And because of that, I may give up an open three. That's the full thing. When you talk about teams playing the same, what is this? What is this?
Damn. Where do you find these stats? The Celtics ISO more than anyone. Oh, you can find these on NBA.com. That's right. Yeah, I mean, just saying every team plays the same is just so silly. It's really just people crying about threes. People just see the amount of threes and just assume every team is just bombing threes. But it is just like, I don't know how you can watch the Boston Celtics and, you know, I'm trying to think of another good team, because of course I could say the Boston Celtics and the fucking Raptors. Very different styles. But the Boston Celtics and the Warriors. How can you watch those two teams and think those two teams play the same? Or like the Cavs and the Grizzlies. Look how little the Grizzlies run pick and roll. That is crazy, man. That is absolutely insane. Or like this right here, the Jazz, who do run a ton of they run Lowry off a ton of screens. The Warriors obviously run a ton of guys off of screens, but then, you know, look at the rest of the league. The Bucks play out the post all the time with Giannis, obviously. Nuggets play out the post all the time with Jokic. Lakers, AD, and LeBron. So that number will go down for the Lakers, but it is crazy the Grizzlies do not use screens.
This right here shows you the percentage of teams' possessions and how they generate their offense. So, for example, the Golden State Warriors are number one in points generated through a cut. When if you watch the Warriors with their split action and everything, you see that. You see the same thing with the Denver Nuggets, because Nikola Jokic is a passing wizard and he gets so much attention. Atlanta Hawks, at the bottom of the list, you have teams like the 76ers or the Charlotte Hornets. You have teams like the Utah Jazz that, because they don't have much individual on-ball creation, they get a lot of their points or a lot of their possessions and with an off screens, or you get handoffs and isolation, which makes sense if you watch the Boston Celtics. A lot of times it is Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown cooking their man, getting past the first defender.
Are you really the last person to find out about?
Just goes to show that there isn't any specific trick that always works. Every team tries to do what serves their players best. Yeah, I mean, that's just good coaching.
These numbers, if you're watching these games, it make a lot of sense. If you watch,
so this number down here is why I'm just like so. I'm so iffy on the Grizzlies, man. Look how dependent on transition their offense is. Look how dependent on transition points their offense is. Man, that just doesn't translate very well usually. Now, last night, that was a nice win against the Suns. Ja Morant popped off. If they could get that level of Ja, that around top 10 player in the league that we've seen at times throughout his career, you get that type of Ja, this Grizzlies team absolutely can compete with anyone. I mean, they're the fucking 2 seed. Like, this sounds stupid to say, but games slow down in the playoffs, and you just need go-to bucket getters.
Let me get this over here. If you watch the Memphis Grizzlies, you recognize that this is the fastest team in basketball. They are dramatically different. They are like, I don't even know, 10 percentage points, 12 percentage points better in transition or more frequent in transition than the Minnesota Timberwolves. You trying to explain to me that that's an homogenization of our game? No way, bro, no way. And one thing I do every single offseason, I've been very candid about this. When the offseason hits, I still want my NBA fix, right? And what I usually do is I go back and watch old games, whether it be from the latest I really go is the mid-90s, because I
Jimmy would unironically have been great for them, swap for Jalen Wells. I wanted the Grizzlies to get Jimmy Butler so bad. So bad. Made so much sense to me. My pea-sized brain. Made so much sense for me. Yeah, you guys got to go with the right LA Fitness, man. Any LA Fitness downtown. They slow down with Edie in the game, and their plus minus those minutes is really good. So in the playoffs, assuming they'll let Edie play more, he isn't gas and foul trouble, I think they will be fine. But then I have my worries about Edie defensively in a playoff setting. It's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. I know they've been starting to shorten their rotation quite a bit, which is interesting. That was kind of a thing for them, was that the rotation is just they ran a 12-person rotation. That's not how it works.
Can't do 6 pixels and try. Is that Julius Erving? I can't do that. So I go mid-90s and I just watch random NBA games. And luckily for me, a lot of NBA games are just on YouTube, full stop. You can watch the full game. You can watch the full series between the Denver Nuggets and the Dallas Mavericks from 2009. I've done that. It's just all on YouTube. And if you want to go more recent, the last like 10 to 15 years are just.
What's that? What's the 2 seed? Is there a way to watch 90s and early 2000s games? There's a lot on YouTube. There's a lot on YouTube for free. Especially in the if you have access to NBA Network, in the offseason, they play throwback games all the time. And I'll watch those. I stand by something I've said before. A lot of our nostalgia about old games, a lot of the aura that comes from old games, and I stand by this. It's going to sound crazy, but I believe this to be true, is the camera quality and the microphone quality. I just think there's something about it. You know, the games being like, the cameras looking like your eyeballs now, the audio being as good as it is, it kind of takes away something that the sort of lower quality video and the more distorted sounding audio, because the audio quality wasn't as good. There's something about that just added a little extra aura to the games. Like the crowd pops sound different because it would just fuck up the mic, right? The crowd pops sound different. The camera flashes. Everything makes it look cooler, right? I think that actually has something to do with it. It sounds stupid, but I think it has something to do with it. It feels different. Yeah, the NBA app has old games you can watch for free as well. I look forward to having courtside VR becoming affordable. I think that's going to make watching games so enjoyable. So I have a VR headset that I have not touched in months and months. Fucking huge waste of money. What was I doing when I purchased that? And what's crazy is I knew that shit was going to be a huge waste of money. I can't believe I bought that shit. But anyways, I've done the VR thing. It's interesting. It wasn't as great as I maybe thought it was going to be. But it was cool, though. It was cool.
On NBA League Pass. So like I can get a bunch of different eras of basketball and I watch all of those eras of basketball. And guess what? I enjoy them all. I'm not one of those people that's going to compare the way the 90s played to the 2000s because I recognize the evolution is very important every single sport that we play. I'm not a huge football guy. I watch football. I care about the NFL, but I would definitely never create a YouTube channel about the NFL because I'm not that locked in. And I tend to like to at least know a little.
I think I'm going to start that. I'm going to start an NFL channel. And here's going to be my gimmick. I'm not going to watch. It's going to be my gimmick. I'm going to make an NFL channel. I'm not going to watch any of the games. And I'm going to do a post-week recap where I'm just going to talk like I watched. So this is how it's going to be. And I'm going to talk like a coach speak. So I'm gonna not watch the games, and then I'll show up on Monday and be like, yeah, that the Bengals yesterday, they were running so much cover 2, and the Bills just couldn't figure it out. The Bills just had so much. All of their routes were flats. I don't know anything. I don't have any like NFL coach speak at all. It's crazy because I played quarterback. When you play quarterback in middle school, they don't fucking teach you these things. You run two. We had 2 passing plays. Two passing plays. That's it. Yeah, the Bengals just ran so much cover 2, and they were rushing 4 or 5 every play. Like they were disguising their blitzes, and the Bills just had no answer for it. And the Bills' offensive line, they did a terrible job in the B gap, and it just led to so many problems. Boom, send it out. One team, yeah, they didn't want it. They didn't want it as much. Slightly Mahomes, no. My 2 years playing quarterback as a starting quarterback for our B team, I didn't throw a single touchdown pass. We didn't win a single game either. The only game we got close to winning was because the starting running back for the A team was a complete and total dumbass and got suspended one game and played on the B team and scored, I think, 5 touchdowns. And we still lost.
A little bit of what I'm talking about when I be making videos and stuff. But I recognize that the game has evolved so much since when I was a kid, where it felt like every single the running back was the most important player outside of the quarterback. Nowadays, you don't even draft running backs in the first couple rounds. They just get replacement guys, and just unless you have like a Saquon or something, you just get replacement guys to do their thing. The game has evolved in, and I'll never see an old-timey player. I'll never see Peyton Manning be like back in my day, because they recognize that the game is always going to evolve. And I think
there's some NFL guys who do that, but it does sound fucking stupid. It just sounds stupid because it's been laid out that they don't do that. And NFL fans, it's like a tribe. I've talked about this. NFL fans, it's like, don't you dare say something's wrong about our sport. It's so ingrained to culture that it almost feels like if you shit on football, if you shit on the NFL, you're like, in a way, shitting on the United States of America. Like that's how some people view it. Like, if you're shitting on the NFL and saying it sucks, you're basically in a roundabout way saying the United States sucks. I think that's how some people look at it.
I think that nostalgia is one of the most dangerous things when it comes to sports, and I guess media in general, whether it be through reading, whether it be through TV or movies. Nostalgia kills a lot of things, and I am very, very guilty of looking at things with my nostalgia lens, because at the end of the day, you fall in love with something, and that's the thing you want to see all the time. 2003 was like the dead era of basketball. That's right when Bron was coming in. This is post Michael Jordan. Things were not good for the NBA, but when I became a fan, that's what I loved, right? Because people are very nostalgic about their eras of basketball, they use that as a way to say the league is not the same, basketball is not the same, and they need to get back to this. People that say that the league has lost creativity, I swear to you, I question if they actually watched the game when they said they.
This is what it is. This is the real truth, and this is one of the things I came to my conclusion when I did the Why Are NBA viewership ratings down video, and I asked a bunch of people, and people hated this answer. People got mad at me. This is just the reality is you've gotten older. Your interests have changed. Basketball was a casualty of that, and that's fine. That's how it works for everybody. There's just not a lot of justifying it. You don't need to think of like 4 or 5 different excuses. The reality is you just don't have time anymore. And basketball is lower on your priority list. That's it. It's not because X, Y, and Z happen. It's not because they shoot threes now, or they drive and kick more, and I like post ups more. No, it's just you don't have time anymore, and that's the truth. They're woke. Shamsbaum, Minnesota Timberwolves plan to convert guard Jalen Clark. He's been balling out actually to a 2-year NBA contract. Congratulations to him. Yesterday, the Pelicans converted two-way guard Brandon Boston. It's crazy he hasn't been converted yet. I feel like Brandon Boston, how many games do you get before you have to be converted? Channing Frye had the same take, and Stephen A. Smith completely didn't understand the take, the nostalgia take. NBA basketball is worldwide and NFL is just America. I'm from Asia. That's why I can tell. The NFL is not an international sport whatsoever. They've tried and tried and tried, and there's some interest for sure, but I mean, it's not an international sport. Because football is an American sport. Other countries, you don't grow up playing football. American football. You don't grow up playing American football. LeBron and Luka smoked Kyrie in a bunch of G Leaguers. Yeah. Well, I agree with this, though. A lot of people just don't have the time anymore.
They watch the game. This is Cleaning the Glasses. This is a site that I've used a ton in the last 5 years of me covering this sport. And the furthest they go back in history is 2003, 2004. You can look at the league average. This is offensive shooting efficiency, frequency. My goodness. In 2003, 2004, 31% of field goal attempts happened at the rim. Then you get the mid-range where half of the shots attempted this season, almost 100,000 shots attempted, is when
I'm going to skip through this part. Yeah. Here in Spain, there's only very few NBA fans. Yeah, Spain. You got Real Madrid. I mean, it's like one of the biggest basketball clubs outside the NBA in the world, right?
Cut it out, man. Cut it out, bro. The NBA has evolved to the point where the random role players no longer going on pin down long mid-range twos, but instead those being replaced with threes. It's the same type of shot, just 6 feet deeper. And that's the reason the league is bad, because now guys on the same level of Keith McLeod can't take long mid-ranges. That blows my mind, because the greatest players...
All right, what is... I agree with Kenny 100% here. Is the rest of the video just... Oh, wait, we got Dirk? We got a Dirk mention?
Melo dropped 31 and 8. Battle of two NBA legends.
Hey!
And you remember defenses being better back then. And I think one of the realities of the defenses being better is because the offenses look so...
So do you guys get what I'm talking about? I want you guys to look at it. This might be my nostalgia kicking in here. And you guys tell me if I'm wrong. There's just there's just a way that the game looks here that feels different. I mean, just... The score bug looks better. The playoff logo on the court. There's just something about it.
So slow and so stagnant. Let's see. This is considered semi-transition.
There's just something about it that I think it feels like there's more weight to it in a weird way. But that also could be my nostalgia. Yeah, that absolutely could be my nostalgia for sure. Because I mean, this is what I fucking 2009. Yeah, this is when the Kenyon Mark Cuban thing happened. I very much remember I was at Dave & Buster's when this game was happening.
I want to get a possession where has a poor representation of this era of basketball. Again, I love this era as well. But look at the spacing on these teams. Objectively, it is easier to guard well when this is what the spacing looks like, right? And now, as we talk about the league being stretched further from the rim, there's a lot more open space for creators, so the defense is going to suffer from that. It just is. Now, this possession is funny. Eric Dampier sets a screen. He gets tripped. Lob situation didn't end up in a lob. If I'm not mistaken, this is the game that Eric Dampier got boomed on too by oh my God, who do you...
I just too one other thing, and this is my nostalgia brain kicking in as well. I mean, look how cool the Nuggets jerseys were. They're like jerseys have, I don't know what it is. Why have they made jerseys so simplistic? I don't really get it. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. The dog shit resolution adds aura. Why do you think digital cameras are a big thing now? Why do you think digital cameras have come back in a major way and it's like a real aesthetic choice for taking pictures, posting pictures on Instagram? Look, man, that shit looks cooler. That shit looks cooler than the 1080p 4K. It just does. Everyone used to wear headbands.
You get dunked on by.
Oh, man, this is making me feel something. Like just seeing Dirk, Jet. I mean, this is what we grew up watching, man. That's definitely the nostalgia. Nike has to pump out new jersey designs every year because all they care about is money. Back in the day, teams had like 3 jerseys for multiple years, sometimes decades. I don't mind them doing city edition jerseys every year. I really don't mind that part. It's just why can't the go-to jerseys not be a little bit more interesting? Why can't you lean into your different color schemes? Like, why does everything have to be white and then maybe like a navy or white and like, you know, whatever basic ass color we can get in there?
Oh, it's gonna blow my mind. Anyway, here's another possession. Look how they're able to just collapse because of the spacing of the team. So, like, you don't need to see that because I'm sure that
you got 2 guys. You got 2 guys in the post. 2 guys in the post. Oh, okay. I thought the Mavs were on offense first.
Oh, it's gonna blow my mind.
You got 2 guys in the block
here's
on each block. Look at this spacing right here. You got 1 guy at the elbow and another guy 1 foot behind him. You have no player on the Denver Nuggets outside the 3-point line. I saw with the Lakers jerseys too. People are upset that when did they make the highlighter yellow change instead of gold? Purple and gold franchise ended up with no gold. Yeah. When did the yellow highlighter become a thing? Because I saw some people say, no, it's not that the color's different. It's just like the camera quality's different. So older pictures make it look like it was gold. And I was like, oh, okay, I guess that kind of makes some sense to me in my brain that the lighting could affect that so much. But then you can actually like compare the jerseys they sell, the new jerseys versus the throwback jerseys. And it is 100% different. You like the yellow highlighter jerseys?
Look how they're able to just collapse because of the spacing of the team. So like you don't need to see
not
that
having a
I'm
single
sure
guy outside the 3-point line is fucking hilarious
in this era. So yes, the defense was more intense because the offense wasn't as I don't know the word I'm looking for, advanced. The offenses just weren't as advanced, and so the defense they were okay with just being this way. One thing you're going to recognize from this era is that some of the bad defenders across basketball very rarely got picked on in the same way that we see it today. I just watched the game, the Charlotte Hornets versus the Lakers, where LaMelo Ball, Miles Bridges, Dennett, Nick Smith Jr. were going at Luka head. They would not be able to do that if this was 2009 and the spacing was that way because you had.
This is like when you're friends with somebody and they ask, hey, what color eyes does this person have? And you have to really think about it. Do the Magic currently have pinstripes? I literally can't. I don't know. I'm thinking about it. I think they do. They still do have pinstripes, right? Okay. All right. That's like one of those things where it's like, does my friend have facial hair?
Had help on both sides. Nowadays, that help does not exist because LaMelo Ball can spray it out to Miles Bridges, or Miles Bridges can spray it out to LaMelo Ball. And you would just say, hey, we think that our back-end defense, whether it be Alex Len or whether it be Jackson Hayes, will be enough to deter my guy from the rim. We're okay with that being the shot versus it being a kick-out three for another person. Now, I'm recording this video while this game is going on, and trust me, I'm going to go back.
Remember when the Wizards actually had, I agree with Kenny's, I'll get to his end point. I agree with all this.
The start of that sunshine double.
Tennis ad. Shout out to Challengers. Great movie.
First level of talent we've ever seen. The highest level of talent we've ever seen. And just the best hoops, man. And just the best hoops. The three-point variance can make it seem a lot worse than what it is, where a team can be super hot and hit 11 threes and a half while the other team hits 0, and now it's a 15 to 20 point lead going into halftime. I recognize that. And because of that, some teams can get stuck trying to play catch up. And the way you play catch up when you're down by that much is trying to spray threes as well. I understand that. But I do believe that, when people talk about the game being at a bad point when it comes to viewership or so on and so forth, there are a lot of factors, but one of the factors that stand out to me is the people that we have representing our game on the national level.
I agree 100%. Great video. Great video, Kenny. Agree. Tennis is fire. Do you watch big tourneys? No. I do agree. I like tennis. Have I ever told you the story? Have I ever told the story of my college job covering women's tennis? I did grow an appreciation for the sport. But I got a job working with the paper, doing sports stuff. And they told me when I got on there, like, we need baseball. We need baseball and we need basketball. And I was like, fuck yeah, let's go. I got hired. I was like, let's go, man. Go to my first meeting, and cringy and embarrassing looking back on it now. But I get with my little sports team and I'm like, so when do I when do I go to the like baseball practices or basketball practices games? Like, do I need a press pass? And they go, one guy goes, I cover the baseball team. And I was like, oh. Another guy goes, yeah, I usually do the basketball team. And I was like, oh. And then they're like, yeah, so we need a women's tennis reporter. Is that cool with you? Can you do that? I was like, I don't fucking know anything about tennis at all. Like, no, it's cool. It's cool. The first tournament's in 2 days. Can you go to that and cover it? And so I spent the next 48 hours learning all I could learn about tennis. And I did a great job. And the women's tennis team at Texas Tech, they were good. They were great. They're a great tennis team. I wonder what they're up to nowadays, all the ladies there. Slightly creep? What's creepy about that, bro? What's creepy about that? No, I did do the best I could. I interviewed a few of the players. They did. They liked it. They were cool. They were cool. I did a really good story about one of them who came from London. But then by the end of the year, I was doing baseball and basketball because I was so good. I was so good at my job. They offered to pay. I was graduating, but they offered to pay for my college if I stayed on and became like the lead editor. Didn't want to do it. They would have had to pay me $1 million to live in Lubbock, Texas, following graduation. They would have had to pay me $1 million. Do they have a lot of Euros? Yeah, there was only like a handful of American-born tennis players. Euros are the best player was Hawaiian, I want to say. I could be wrong there, but I'm pretty sure. Had a Spaniard, I believe. Had a Brit. I believe an Italian. You should see how NIL has affected the college tennis game. Oh, I can imagine, because even whenever I did it before NIL, everyone was a transfer. Everyone was a transfer. What did you study at A&M? I did not go to A&M. Tech started out journalism. Wanted to be a journalist. A journalism professor pulled me aside one day and said, "What are you wanting to do exactly?" And I was like, "Sports journalism." And he was like, "Change your major." He was straight up just like, "Change your major right now. Do not get a journalism degree." And I was like, "Oh," he was like, "Yeah, you don't need one." I was like, "Okay." So I changed it to just the fucking basic comm studies. Shitty degree to get. But it ended up not mattering whatsoever. The honesty is real. No, I really appreciated it. Gabriella Talib, yes, she was there. She was a dog. She was a dog. I honestly don't remember their names that well off the top of my head. Lana Rush, I think was another one. But anyways, I agree with everything Kenny said. It's something I've been saying forever. If I were Adam Silver, one of the first things I'm doing is I'm putting my fucking foot down. And I'm saying, if you're going to broadcast our sport, you're going to talk about it with some respect. You're going to treat this shit seriously. You're not going to put Kevin Hart on the All-Star Game commentary team shitting on the players in the game as it's happening. That's just not going to happen. If you want to broadcast our games, that's not happening. That ain't happening. All right, if you're listening to this on Spotify, leave a 5-star review. I love you. Well, Adam Silver's midseason talking about the three-point problem. Yeah, Silver's done a terrible, terrible, terrible job. Just straight up awful. In-season tournament sucks. I think the in-season tournament's good. I think Adam Silver's letting ESPN do what they do because it's sparking clicks and money. That's what players and owners care about. I think they're spineless. If you want me to be honest with you and be harsh, I think they're spineless. Honestly. Explain why didn't these next gen players destroy the old school playing 90s ball in the 2000s? What do you mean? I mean, LeBron was one of the best players in the league immediately. Like Chris Paul's still in the league. He was a top 3 player in the sport in the mid to late 2000s. Top 3, top 5 player in the sport. Sure, LeBron's different. I don't mind the in-season tournament. In an unrelated note, Mavs will travel to Golden State February 30th to play the Warriors for the 9th time this season. I do like the in-season. I think the in-season tournament's fine. The travel shit's kind of annoying. You get to points where it's like, wait a second. If we lose this game, we get to play the Hornets and the Wizards next week. But if I win this game, I have to go play the Boston Celtics in Boston. Like that's when you start to get like that's when you start to look at it differently. It's basically though, Bucks aren't winning anything. What's the point? I think it is fun. It feels like a different world. Like it feels like that was a different season when the in-season tournament happened. All right, folks, I'm gonna hop off. I'll post a Luka video about the game, but I think it's not gonna be ready until tomorrow. So be on the lookout for that mañana. Mañana. Long stream today. Long stream. I won't be live for the Mavs until Saturday. And I have family in town, so I'm not even sure about that. I'll have to see. But for sure, we'll not be streaming the game tomorrow night. And they better fucking win, man. They better win, dude. Bucks are going to clap on Saturday? I don't know. Do you have redness questionable for the next game? Oh, God. Sorry, it's me. It's your son. I thought we got rid of him. All right, thank you all for coming out. Am I doing lockdown tomorrow? No. Thank you all for coming out. All of the OGs, guys, we love you very much. Could have spent your Wednesday morning anywhere in the world. You decided to spend it here. New subscribers, I promise you guys now are good at donations, members. Thank you guys so much. You never have to do that, but it helps me out tremendously. It makes me feel so good. You guys enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. I'll talk to you all Friday. Tomorrow, expect the Luka Doncic video about the game. We'll just kind of go over it, have some fun. Anyway, thank you all for coming out. You guys enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. I'll chat with you all later. Bye.